Blog Talk Radio.
But we are making a stand, and we're waking everybody up that 9/11 was an inside job. And you are the minority. You are the cowards who don't know the truth. You're the people that serve this evil system. You're the people that serve a system that hurts innocent men, women, and children, not just Iraqis, not just Afghans, not just Africans, but the people right here in this nation. You serve a new world order that attacks and feeds on.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas. The first reports say that President Kennedy has been seriously wounded by this shooting.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
But I also believe that a lot of gun owners would agree that AK-47s belong in the hands of soldiers, not in the hands of criminals.
Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war. But there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is the specter our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives no choice between peace and war, only between fight or surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we have to face the final demand, the ultimatum. And what then? When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better read than death, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools. And our honored dead, who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis, didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not advance. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we're spirits, not animals. And he said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
Hey, everybody. Hey, how you doing tonight? Joseph Gibson. Joseph Gibson on Blog Talk Radio, broadcasting from Greensboro, North Carolina, 6:04 p.m. on the East Coast. Welcome, everyone, to the show. Those in the chat room, thank you for participating, or at least listening. We've got a few guests. Of course, BitBanker's in there, too, and I'm looking for a couple other people that said they were going to go in the chat room, but that's okay. We got a bunch in the chat room tonight. And, of course, the callers on the line. We've got, let's see, Joe in Sebastian, Florida. I always patch them through. Thanks for listening. It is appreciated that you do listen. Mike out in Wisconsin, I see you're here. Joe, Meriden, Connecticut, of course, that's important. Bridget in Reedsville. Elizabeth Rondo, listening in Yalesville. I think I've got my friend here from Nevada listening. My Trump supporter here, I think he's listening. I think that's his number. He's listened a couple times, hasn't participated, but he always, he checks in once in a while, but that's okay. Hey, it's okay just to listen. And let's see here. I'm scrolling down the screen. I don't recognize a couple of these numbers. And then we've got about 3 private callers. And if it's that wacko tone, hopefully it's not him because, I've only got 60 minutes for the show tonight, and we don't need to listen to his nonsense. Hopefully he'll go away. If he wants to tune in and contribute to the show, I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. And I told him that the last time we spoke. But if we're going to make bathroom noises and flush the toilet and, call Joe a janitor and talk about Joe in Sebastian, Florida to wear diapers and stuff, we can't tolerate that. We're trying to conduct a professional show here. That's just what it's about. We're trying to, get things done. The name of the show is Understanding the Times in Which We Live In. And we've had a lot of important guests on this program. And if you want to be a guest on this program, or if you have a story to share, or if you think you need to be heard, all you have to do is email me at joegibsonishome@yahoo.com, and I'll see what's up with you. If you got a story that that you feel is important, then maybe it is important. If it's important to you, then it should be important to everyone else. If you're going to talk about your goldfish dying, then that's something we're not going to talk about. But if like the CPS stories we've had on this program, emotional, a lot of them, and we got to update a lot of them in the future. We have to really update a lot of those stories that we touch base on in the future. But we have important things going on right now. We have a very important election for the CEO of the United States Corporation coming up on Tuesday. It's actually finally here. Tuesday is the big day that the bankers pick their president. Okay? The Illuminati picks their president. Now, I know people out there are saying, what are you talking about? But, hey, I just want to let you know, we've had callers here. Some of my supporters say the elections are rigged. Do you believe they're rigged? Then why the hell do you vote if you believe they're rigged? Or is it not rigged, but in a way influenced? Do you get my drift, what I'm trying to say here? What I mean by influence, they influence people through the media, if you know what I mean. Try to brainwash you into believing something that's not true. So you vote a certain way. Now, look, have any of you out there personally met Donald Trump? We've never interviewed him on this program. I've never met him. Have any of you ever met him personally? No. So you go by what the television has told you about Donald Trump, right? You only understand what you heard about Donald Trump and who he is. You only heard about Hillary Clinton. Excuse me. You only heard about Hillary Clinton and what she's about. Okay? You don't know if she's even a real freaking person. Well, we can't go that. We won't go that far into the conspiracy rabbit hole here. But she is a real person. But what I'm trying to say is we don't know if this FBI thing is actually true. For God's sake, if it was you or I that we've discussed in the past, we'd be sitting in a federal prison for years and years and years waiting on a trial. But Hillary Clinton's out there traveling the country on your dime. The Federal Reserve's printing the money for her, okay, because she's getting campaign contributions and donations from the idiots out there. Same with Trump. You know, he's a billionaire. He has nothing to worry about. He loses the election. He goes back to his golf course, goes back to his hotels. You know, there's no sweat off his back. I mean, other than time that he lost, but yeah, he's become so popular, he's going to get his own television network, from what I hear. And if Hillary loses, what's the big deal to her? Tell me, if she loses the election, do you think it will sway the FBI into actually indicting her on the charges that she really should be brought up upon? No. And if she's elected, we already know she could pardon herself. Right? She's the commander-in-chief. She's the CEO of the United States of America. So it doesn't make a difference. It really doesn't. So what I'm talking about here, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? And I brought this argument up during the last show. What difference does it make who's elected? Do you really think either or is going to change this country for the better or the worse? Do you really think Trump is going to make things so great and everyone's going to have jobs again and there's going to be health care reform and the United States is going to be great and our military is going to be strong again, and all the terrorists are going to go away, and he's going to be friends with Russia, and all our problems. We can go to bed every single night knowing that Trump is the president of the United States of America. And same goes with Hillary. If Hillary is elected, what's going to happen? Is the end going to happen? Is the end of the world going to happen? Is Hillary going to start World War III? I mean, okay, we already had Obama. We've seen what he's done. Tell me something. Years ago, before Obama was elected, as President of the United States, we were all bashing George Bush. We know George Bush was a criminal. We know that. The Bush family is criminals. We know that. If you disagree, you can call in. But tell me something. 8 years ago, when Obama got elected, what has changed 8 years from now? Tell me, what has changed? If I remember correctly, gas prices were about $4 a gallon 8 years ago. They're $2.10 a gallon out here in North Carolina right now, so we're better off on that. We all need gasoline to put in our cars, heat our homes, oil. So we're better off there, right? Did you lose your job? Any of you out there? Or tell me, what has changed in the last 8 years other than we the people, destroying and killing each other worse? And is the President of the United States responsible for that? No. We all know, was he responsible for George Zimmerman and that Trayvon criminal? Was he responsible for that? No. Is he responsible for the 16 murders that happened last weekend in Chicago? No. He has no control over that, the President of the United States. Is the President of the United States controlling what happens in your community? No. So tell me, what has changed for the worst in the last 8 years? Tell me. Because we're all pointing our fingers saying, Obama has practically destroyed America. And when Hillary gets in there, she's going to finish us off. You know what? I think if Hillary's elected, you know what's going to happen 4 years from now? We'll be having the same damn conversation again. And if Trump's elected, we'll be having the same damn conversation again. Unless the good Lord intervenes and gets us the hell out of here, or we won't get into a religious part of the program. But what I'm trying to say is, turn your TV off, okay? Turn the radio off and stop listening to what these people are telling you. Because, look, it's not going to change. Everything is still the same. Yes, the world has become dirtier, that people have become more of liars, more corrupt. There's more crime today, yes, and the world is more unsafe today. But what's that got to do with Hillary or Obama or Trump? Nothing. Nothing. If you disagree with me, or if you want to comment on what I just had to say, because we're only scheduled here for an hour tonight, and before I get to any phone calls or I try to pack some people through, since we're all concerned about the elections and what's going to happen, we're going to have a show on Tuesday, okay? And we're going to be at one of the polling outlets here in Summerfield, North Carolina. And as people exit the polls, because we cannot influence people as they go into the poll, even though the Black Panthers have done it in the past and other people have, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait for people until after they voted, and we're going to ask them live on the radio show, hey, if you don't mind, would you mind telling me who you voted for and why? And we're going to listen to people live on this show on Tuesday, okay? And the exact time right now, I believe, is going to be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It could change, and you need to pay attention and check back in probably on Monday, tomorrow, to verify the time of the show. And my supporters, I'll make sure you know the time so you could check in, because I'm going to probably have someone run the studio, and we're going to be in connection with the Captain Show in New York at the same time. He's going to bring his people on with us, and we're going to do a live show and have a live exit poll. Just to, to get the feel of what's going on this big election night. So, let's see here. We got to get to some callers here. Wait, I don't see any callers, but I want to ask someone an opinion on what I talked about tonight. And all my other supporters, hang on here. The computer is working tonight. I dropped a couple callers. Where they went, I don't know. But you need to press 1, my other supporters. But I want to ask one of my supporters on the program, since we don't have any scheduled guests tonight. Let me see. All right. Hey, Joe in Sebastian, Florida. Tell me, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Joe.
Not to put you out there, but what's your opinion on the opening tonight and my stance on Tuesday trying to get a live exit poll, or just all in general? What's your opinion about this Tuesday? How is it going to affect our country, this election?
Well, I'm not quite sure about. Well, I've heard a lot about Hillary. Okay. That she'd put the country up for sale if she could. That I don't know. It's all talk. Trump, the only thing I know is he's one hell of a businessman. Okay, to make that kind of money, he has to. And as for you talking, well, I guess you have to talk in order to get your message across to everybody. But most of the time, I don't know, a lot of people don't have things to say, so they just listen. That's about all I have to say, Joe, right now.
Okay, no. I was just getting your opinion on the introduction tonight, because your opinion matters, and you're a supporter of the program. And I patched you through. You see, once I patch you through, I don't know if you want to talk or not. So that's why I always give you an opportunity. But while I got you on, though, real quick, what's your prediction for Tuesday? Who's going to win the election? What's your prediction, your opinion?
Well, without a doubt, I think the people all want Trump. So what's going to happen is that the plurality will be for Trump. And right now, I think the the people that run the radio stations, they're just trying to stir up some sort of interest in it and everything like that. But all in all, I think Trump will make it. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, that's honest. I appreciate that. And will you be voting, Joe? Are you voting on Tuesday?
Oh, I've already voted.
Oh, okay. Would you mind me asking who you voted for? Which I kind of already know, but I suppose you voted for Trump, right?
Yes, I did, but I didn't vote for Rubio.
Okay. Okay. Very good. All right. Hey, Joe and Sebastian Florida, thank you so much for your contribution tonight to the program. You are a great supporter. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you very much. And, hey, otherwise, how's everything going with your health down there? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, my health is okay. It's just my hip is okay, too. It's just my knees that are giving me trouble. But I do have something I put on them every single morning when I wake up, and it seems to last all day. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, Joe. Joe in Sebastian, Florida, thank you very much for supporting the program, because we do have some anonymous people on. I'm going to try to mute you right now, and there we go. His number's muted. Anyone else who wants to contribute, you need to press 1 now, because I did do a short show tonight, because I had no guests scheduled, okay? I didn't have any guests scheduled, and I kind of wanted to do a quick show because we're doing an early show on Tuesday, okay? And I just made that announcement. And I really need all my supporters on the line on Tuesday to convert with the captain also, because it's going to be a very big show on Tuesday, I believe. And the captain and I are supposed to be coordinating, but hope I don't have an exact time yet. But I promise to let my supporters know the exact time of the show. And remember, I'm on the East Coast here. For those of you like Peter and Dr. Ventura in San Diego, California, he's got a different time zone. And Mike out in Wisconsin, you're got a different time zone. But Joe and Sebastian, Florida, you're on the same time zone. Bitbanker, he's on the same time zone. Bridget is on the same time zone. But before I continue with the call here, I just want to go on. And I got Bitbanker on the line. I'll connect you here just 1 second. I want to say yesterday we had a party for my little boy. He turned 1 year old, and we had his first birthday party, and it was a great success. There was no problems. Everything went well. The family that showed up, everybody got along, and we had a good time. So we really had a good time, and I wish all family could be here. But, that's just the way it is, and that's the way things go, and that's the way the ball rolls. Some people, they live far away, and they can't be here, but we had a good time. So I want to thank my wife, Bridget, for putting together a very good party, organizing everything, decorating the house, and making sure that my little boy had a very special birthday party. After all, your first birthday is always very important. And why, I don't know, because none of us can remember it. Can any of you remember your first birthday? I assure you, I know I can't. But I believe it's for the parents to remember. So that's what I've been told. But anyway, that was a great day yesterday. It was a good day. My little boy Noah turned 1 year old, and we had a great party. It was nice. So anyway, I'll go ahead and connect Bitbanker. Trying to connect you anyway. All right, Bitbanker, go ahead. You're on.
Good evening. Do I sound okay this evening?
Yeah, you sound okay.
Okay, just checking with this phone. Well, happy birthday to Noah, or happy post-birthday to Noah anyway. And good evening to everybody else. Yeah, we're on daylight savings time now, if I'm correct. That's right, isn't it?
Yes.
We're not on Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, when Obama took office, or when Obama took office, gas was $1.89 a gallon in this area, and it's gone up since that time. And I just wanted to mention that. And you're talking about politics and who's going to win and who's going to change. And like I always do, I wrote a little bit in the chat as you were talking. Let me chat up. Let me scroll up, and I'll read a little bit. And the FBI came out, and they're not going to overturn the decision to not charge Hillary Clinton, over all her legal activities and emails. And again, I believe it's maybe they just want to, get her off in one fell swoop. I don't think it really matters anyway, because I don't think very many people are going to vote for her. But like Joe in Florida says, everybody's going to be voting for Trump. But the way things go, she may be our next president. We had Abraham Lincoln, James Garfield, William McKinley, Kennedy. Who's going to be next? It's a crazy political world out there. And the definition of politicians, the ability to lie or otherwise tell people to go straight to hell in such a way that they really expect a trip. And if you really want a definition of diplomacy, the art or practice of conducting international relations, as in like negotiating alliances, treaties, agreements, in order to personally profit or otherwise buy the electoral vote or escape criminal prosecution. So there we have our politicians, and I just thought I'd get that out there. Go ahead.
Well, okay. What's your prediction then for Tuesday? Who's our next president?
Well, as I said, as far as the people's vote, it's going to be Trump via landslide. And if it really is a criminal government, the way I believe it is, Hillary's going to be our president.
So what you're saying is that Hillary is going to be our next president, because we all know the government is criminal. Okay.
I'm afraid
and tell
so.
me, while I got you on the phone, 4 years from now, we're still here, God willing. Well, actually, let's just say we're not here. Let's just say, what do you think Hillary's going to do during her 4-year presidential term?
Well, Obama was going to fundamentally transform America, and I believe he's pretty much accomplished that. Hillary, there's 330 million people in America now that we know about. Hillary plans on bringing 600 million immigrants into the United States. That's not going to make a dent in what's going on in the world, but for every one that you see walking around now, you're going to see 3. So we're going to be a cesspool. That's what I think. Not that I have anything against these people, but their cultures are totally different, and I believe it's just going to be a cesspool. I don't think she's going to go for our First and Second Amendments. I don't think they're going to do away with them, but I think they'll change them radically. That's what I think.
So do you think so? Well, let me ask you this. So do you think, in the years you've been alive, and we heard Joe in Sebastian, Florida, I didn't ask him this question. I wish I did. Do you think America is through? We're finished. We're done. And do we go into a civil war, or the economy collapses, or some major disruption happens with the government? And because, the country can only take so much, but I don't see any change going on right now. It's just like it was 2 years ago, if you ask me, in my opinion. But anyway, and the economy, I don't follow the stock market too much. I do have gold. I've invested in gold. And gold prices have plummeted from when, 5 years ago, when they were skyrocketing. And they're talking about the Fed actually raising the interest rate from 0 to 1%. So, is the economy really that bad? I just don't get it. As much as I've studied the New World Order, I don't get it. What's the deal? So my question is this, not to beat around the bush. 4 years from now, will we still be here talking about the same damn crap?
Yeah, well, I mentioned this in the last show. Yes, we'll still be here with the same damn crap. You know, these, as I mentioned last week, these $600 million. She probably won't bring in $600 million, but that's what she wants to do. There's a bond put on everybody, especially when you're born, and they use it to trade. We have the world reserve currency. It's just another way for them to keep going with more power and more money. You know, it's just another way for them to get what they want. We know it's corrupt. We know they're criminals. We know there are good ones in there too, but they're so far and few between that they're not even, you know, they don't come out of the woodwork that often. We'll still be here in 4 years. Will things change? Of course they'll change. They have to change. Things can't remain the same. But her plans don't coincide with basically anybody that I know. That's for sure. And prices will go up and down, and life will go on. You know, gas went from $1.89 to $2.29 now, or whatever it is. Of course, it hit $4 maybe at one time, but your wages have increased somewhat too, and you know, the standard of life. You know, I remember. I can't say I remember my first birthday, but I remember back to when I was 1 and 2 years old. I remember back then, but not my birthday. I remember things I was doing back then. And so I have a good memory that way. But as far as the lifestyle as it goes on today, you know, I believe they put this stuff out there too to give you something to think about. They're magicians. Watch this hand while I pull the rug out from under you over here with this hand. You know, so I don't think it's going to collapse. I don't think we're going to have a civil war. I just think we need to. You know, protest as much as we need to do, and as long as we have our First Amendment, let's do it, because I believe she's going to fundamentally change the first two. Go ahead.
Well, that's true. I mean, we have saw some changes for the negative, but I mean, but actually, in a way, not. We heard a lot of talk. You know, I'll get to you, Mike, out in Wisconsin in 1 second. We heard a lot of talk, you know, the Second Amendment, they're going to take our guns. Really, the gun laws haven't changed. They're the same they were 8 years ago. Nothing has changed. And everyone was afraid Obama was going to take our guns. And actually, more guns are on the street today than there were 8 years ago. So, and you know, we still can open carry here in North Carolina. Yeah, they put together a registration policy up in Connecticut and restricted gun laws a little bit up there. But the same people who owned guns 8 years ago still own them today. And, you know, that's what I'm saying. A lot of it's gibberish. But I want to get Mike's opinion on the conversation tonight because, like I said, the show is shortened tonight. And we only got 20 minutes left. So, Mike out in Wisconsin, I'm trying to connect you. Hang on. There you go. We got a lot of people on the line, but nobody's participating. I wish they would. But go ahead, Mike. Mike.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Joe, good evening. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, just fine, Mike. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. All right. Hey, well, I agree with what my brother is saying. But what concerns me is, you know, you got to get along to get along, if you know what I mean. And, you know, most of the Arab countries can't stand her, you know, and, well, the first thing is she's a woman, so, I mean, they don't like, you know, women in power.
That's a good point, Mike. That's a good point. A lot of these Muslim countries won't deal with a woman. You're at good point.
That's what I mean. So, I mean, that concerns me. You know, Margaret Thatcher, you know, she was a pretty good prime minister of England. But, I mean, she was a tough old bird. I mean, you know, you tried to punch her, she punched you back. And, you know, that's my problem with the thing. You know, I know Trump thinks he's the best deal maker in the world, okay? Well, I'd rather have somebody who thinks they're the best deal maker in the world than somebody that just doesn't give a rat. You know? Send me another $1 million and I'll see what I can do. And, you know, it's, yeah, I mean, you know, just like my father. I mean, you know, Obamacare is going to, you know, it's going to go up 26% in Wisconsin. Co-pays are going up by 150, 200 hours of copay. I mean, you know, we're
does that affect you, Mike, directly? Mike, does that affect you directly?
Sure does. I have to pay for my health insurance, which I'm on Medicare, but I still have to pay a portion of it. And you know, I go to the emergency room. It's $150 before they ask me what's wrong with me. You know.
Okay.
And you know, here I am going to the emergency room. I can't breathe, and you know they want $150. You know, and same with my doctor. You know, it cost $100 to walk into my doctor's office, and it's like, you know, people on Medicare.
So your copay will increase because your insurance premium will increase, so you'll have to pay a higher copay. Is that what you're saying?
You know, that's true. You know, higher deductible too. You know, my deductible my deductible was $2,500. Okay, when it renewed.
Wow.
On January 1st, goes from $2,500 to $10,000.
Oh my Lord!
So you know, how can
you're saying this is because of Obamacare and the socialist Medicare system they have set up.
My doctor was there in my hospital there, Waukesha Memorial, and he's been seeing people there for years and years and years. And this Obamacare came in, and he just gave up his practice at the hospital and went to the hospital in the next county. You know, and here I was, you know, stuck without a doctor. You know, and the thing is, when they find out you don't have a doctor on staff, you know, they're all trying to climb the rope at the same time. You know, and you know, every time they come in the room and they go, "Hi, how are you?" You know, that's $141 charged to my insurance company. Or more. You know, look at my brother. I mean, you know, they go in and you know, they don't know what really his problem is. You know, and neither does he. He's not a doctor. If he was, he wouldn't need them. And you know, but getting back to the subject, you got to get along to get along. Okay, she does not get along. All right, neither does Obama. You were talking about, you know, Al Qaeda and how safe we are. Well, we're not safe because he's a panty waist. He won't, you know, he's no Douglas MacArthur. He's nothing. I mean, you know, he won't fight.
You know, Mike, well, okay, we're not safe anymore, Mike. Okay, well, why hasn't Al Qaeda, like, for instance, we all saw on the news about the gas line being, that had an explosion in the southeast a couple weeks ago. Why haven't the terrorists done something like that? Why hasn't there been another attack since 2001 on America, a terrorist attack? And don't tell me those two brothers in Boston were with ISIS and it was some big strategic thing. It was two cuckoos from Russia who got set up in patsies for the FBI. But why has I mean, if I was a terrorist, so let's just say if I was a terrorist and I was in America, how many targets could I take advantage of? Good God. I could walk into any federal building with a bomb strapped around my waist and just say, good night, everybody. Boom. You know, it would be so easy. I could walk into a grocery store and blow up 100 customers. I mean, if these people are that crazy and they're blowing each other up around the world and they hate America so much, why hasn't it happened here? Why not? Why? Where's the boogeyman? You know?
I don't, you know, all I can say is I'm grateful it hasn't, but you know, I think, you know, the
Mike, you're missing the Mike. Hang on, you're missing the point. You're grateful it hasn't, and I agree with you. But if all these people around the world are flooding into this country, that's what the media tells us. That's what Obama's doing, and Hillary's going to do it too. All these people are running across the border down in Mexico, and all these people are coming in. ISIS is here. The boogeyman is hiding underneath our bed. And why aren't they blowing us up? Where are they? Or are they just, you know, or are they just waiting for that big day when they all can do it at once? You know, it don't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. If you don't mind me saying, it doesn't make any freaking sense.
Your opinion is very welcome. You know, I just have that feeling in me, like why do you go to a different doctor? Because the one you have isn't doing satisfactory work or whatever. And well, that's what I mean. She has no platform. You know, she's going to make it America stronger. What the hell does that mean? You know, and
yeah, okay, Mike. I agree with you. I don't like Hillary Clinton because of her beliefs, and I don't like the history of her family, and I don't like Bill Clinton. I don't want him in the East Wing of the White House because he's a sexual predator. But as far as Hillary being president, she's not going to change anything really when you think about it. I mean, you know, who really runs this country? Tell me. I mean, can she really pass a bill or a law without the Congress or Senate and House's approval? I mean, and really, go ahead, Mike.
Let's put it this way: Obama has gone around Congress time and time again. You know, just
and he has. And how has it affected this country? How has it affected this country? Tell me. What Obama has done the last 8 years?
Well,
what has he done to hurt this country?
Look at the coal miners. Okay. I mean, they've wiped out towns, complete towns. You know, there's no jobs. They're all sitting back on. There was this thing on TV the other night about it, and you know, they're sitting back collecting food stamps, hoping that you know the coal mines will start up again. Well, Hillary says.
Okay, Mike. Okay. You see, I'm here in the Triad in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I'm going to tell you right now, the economy is doing just fine right here. Just fine. People are broke? Yes. We all have been broke. You want to know why? Because they got to pay for their cell phones. They got to pay for their laptops. They got to go out and go to the bar on Friday night. They got to do their drugs. They got to make their car payment. You know, everyone's broke just like they were 20 years ago. Okay, but your point about the coal miners, I understand. And I want to get Bitbanker back into this conversation because we're running out of time. But, okay, Bitbanker, you disconnected yourself, but you're back on. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll just add a little comment to everything you're talking about before you close the show. Yeah, we do have terrorism right now in this country, just like you mentioned. But it's done in a different way. You see, they're getting smarter at it. You know, like Charlie Sheen, Charlie Chaplin, and you know Al Shithead, who's visited the White House 300 times. Why? It's the radical people from the 60s. It's the Black Panthers that are now in control, and that's how they're doing it. Truth in advertising, truth in lending, borders, language, and culture. That cell phone that says free, that comes with that $199 a month payment for 2 years, that's fraud. That's fraud in advertising. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. That's fraud. There should be a law against that. He should be brought up on charges. Yeah, you could keep your doctor if you can afford $50,000 a year. You know, I hear they're coming out with a $79.95 monthly insurance plan that covers everything. It's called $79.95 across the board, 100% of everything, and everybody's interested in it. And let me tell you how it works. And I'll go into a little more detail than what they'll tell you. It's $79.95 a month. That's it. Everything's covered. And you got an annual copay of $79.95. It's $79.95 across the board. And you have a $79,950 deductible every year. So, see, everybody's going to jump at it, but they're not going to tell you that last They're not going to tell you that last part. They're going to wait to get everybody hooked on it. And that's what this guy in the White House did. And now everything skyrockets. But life is still good, and people are getting along. But that's what they're doing for terrorism now. And these things have happened, and we don't know who's really in charge. You know, is it Charlie Sheen? Is it Charlie Chaplin? You know, is it Charlie Manson? We don't know because nobody's going to tell us because they all have another agenda. Because they were liars.
You remember the conversation we had? Bitbanker, you remember the conversation we had about one of the introductions I do, and I'll play it at the end if people would stay tuned and listen. Who, you know, let's see, it's with George Carlin and Bill Hicks. You know, when the president is elected, he's put into a room and a round table with a bunch of guys with cigars, and a big screen falls down, and you see the assassination of President Kennedy from an angle no one has ever seen before, okay? And then the screen goes up, and they say, any questions? Just what my agenda is. Bomb Baghdad, you got it.
That's right. That's right. And that's probably exactly what they do because they've done it to Jesse Ventura, and he's commented about it. That's basically what they did to him when he was governor of, it wasn't Wisconsin, Montana, was it?
Minnesota, I believe.
Minnesota. That's Minnesota. That's right. So, a number of people in charge today running our country. They were liars, thieves, crooks, criminals, bank robbers, and murderers from the 50s and 60s, and that's what we're getting in there now. Just take a look at where Obama came from and how well that state is doing or that city is doing. You know, this is where he came from. So, okay, so I'll finish up now, and I'll let you close out your show.
All right. Hey, Mike, go ahead. Give your last words real quick, and I hope people listen. It's only 3 minutes long. So I hope people listen to it and pay attention because this affects the election. And we got about 15 callers on the line tonight. So you know, listen to it. Take the time and listen. It's only 3 minutes long, you know. But, Mike, wrap up the show before I play the closing.
Okay, well, I still say, you know, there's two people always running for one job, okay? And, you know, this one person is giving their testimony, let's say, of what they want to do and what they think they can do, you know, and, you know, it's probably something you want to hear. But when the other person running for the same job has no platform whatsoever, I mean, she's got Jay-Z and Beyonce and, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That doesn't make any sense to me. You know, like I read today that Obama is out there, you know, campaigning for Hillary. It cost
and 8 years ago, wasn't he campaigning against Hillary?
That's right. Exactly. But it cost $5,000 an hour to keep him on the you know, the campaign trail. You know, and it's like there has to be something better about the job than what they the general public is seeing what they offered, you know? And
well, Bitbanker posed this question. Why would you spend $5 million to get a job that pays for 2 years $150,000 a year? Why would you do that? Right? Yeah. Why? Why in the world? Would you buy a farm, Mike? You're a former dairy farmer. Would you buy a farm for $100,000 and know that you're going to have to live there probably until the day you die, but it only paid $1,000 a year for profit? You'd have to live there for 100 years. You know, I mean, you know, it makes no sense.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I just, you know, this is why Trump says he wants to drain the swamp. Well, actually, you know, he's on the right track. I mean, all there are a bunch of alligators down there, you know, and they're snapping and biting at anybody that gets in their way because, you know, they're making the offshore money, and you know, it's real nice if you can vote in a bill that disqualifies you, you know, for stock market or whatever it was. I can't really remember, but you know, Congress got these exempt, and you know, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean,
that's right.
So, well,
and Mike, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
To boil it down, okay. I'm going to vote for somebody who I think can at least get something accomplished. We have a lot of things that need to be done. One is the veterans. You know, they're being treated horribly. Just terrible. And you know, and other things too. I mean, the government basically to spend $1 trillion. You know, I think they said you could spend $1,000 a minute until you die, and you'd never hit $1 trillion. You know, and
Mike, everyone can pay 100% of their income to the taxes around the country, and still not for the next 10 years, and not be able to pay off the national debt. So what's that tell you? We're doomed. We're doomed.
Yeah, well, it's true, but why do you know, what do they say about, you know, constantly doing the same thing and getting the same results is a definition of, you know, somebody who's crazy. Well, I think we're crazy. Einstein,
that was his definition of an insanity. When someone does the same thing over and over and over and obtains the same result, that's called being insane. You know, so why would you do it? You know, and that's what we are as the American people, Mike. I've got 6 minutes left, Mike. Go ahead. Give me a couple minutes. I got 6 minutes left.
I'm done. I'm done. But you know, I feel that if you don't vote, it's a vote for Hillary. If you vote and you vote for Trump, it's a vote against Hillary. I'd rather be against her than for her. So I mean, and plus, you know,
I agree. Mike, I agree with you in a way.
I know you, but you know, I have the ability to still vote. You know, it's my right, legal right. You know, and if people don't vote, then don't bitch about what's going on.
Well, Mike, we'll get into that in the future shows, why your vote doesn't really count and why you're only wasting your time. I believe we addressed some of this when I had the people from the Republic on, and when you register to vote, you're actually not really voting. We'll get into that, though. But, hey, believing in what you think is right in your heart doesn't mean it's right. But it's okay. It's okay for now if you don't know the truth. And That's why the show is called Understanding the Times in Which We Live In. And we'll get back into that in the future. You said you like when I talk about birth certificates and the banking industry, and maybe we need to cover that again after the election so you'll understand why your vote didn't count after all. But anyway, I want to play this clip. It's actually only 2 minutes and 26 seconds. So I hope the people who are listening tonight will listen to this clip. Please, it may turn a light bulb on in your head. And listen, I promise, Joe in Spanish, Florida, Mike in Wisconsin, Bitbanker, Bridget, Elizabeth Rondo, Peter, everybody. I will, Red in Branford, Connecticut. I recognize your number. You're listening tonight. Hey, thanks. I'll contact you for election night so you know what time to tune in, okay? I promise. But anyway, listen to this clip, please. Please.
All you ever hear about in this country is our differences. That's all the media and the politicians are ever talking about, the things that separate us, things that make us different from one another. That's the way the ruling class operates in any society. They try to divide the rest of the people. They keep the lower and the middle classes fighting with each other so that they, the rich, can run off with all the fucking money. Fairly simple thing, happens to work. You know anything different, that's what they're going to talk about. Race, religion, ethnic and national background, jobs, income, education, social status, sexuality, anything you can do, keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank. You know how I describe the economic and social classes in this country? The upper class keeps all of the money, pays none of the taxes. The middle class pays all of the taxes, does all of the work. The poor are there just to scare the shit out of the middle class. Keep them showing up at those jobs.
They're all the same. I'll show you Politics in America. Here it is, right here. I think the puppet on the right shares my beliefs. I think the puppet on the left is more to my liking. Hey, wait a minute. There's one guy holding up both puppets. Shut up. Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control.
I have this feeling, man, because you know there's a handful of people actually run everything. That's true. It's provable. I'm not a conspiracy nut. It's provable. Handful, very small elite run and own these corporations, which include the mainstream media. I have this feeling who's ever elected president, like Clinton was, no matter what your promises you promise on the campaign trail, blah, 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 when you win, you go into this smoky room with the 12 industrialist, capitalist scumfucks who got you in there, and you're in this smoky room, and this little film screen comes down, and a big guy in a cigar roll the film. And it's a shot of the Kennedy assassination from an angle you've never seen before. It looks suspiciously off the grassy knoll. And then the screen goes up, and the lights come up, and they go to the new president. Any questions? Just what my agenda is. First we bomb Baghdad. You got it.
That's right, folks. That's right. So on Tuesday, if you really think your vote matters, it doesn't. We'll get back more into that, though, but thanks for the support tonight on the show. It's good talking about it. If you want to waste your time on Tuesday voting, remember that clip? And it's actually 100% true, okay? Your vote doesn't count. You're not real. You were born as a chattel, a slave to the Federal Reserve System. Good night, everybody. I love you. God bless. Take care. I hope you tune in on Tuesday, election night.
Good night.